The impeachment process against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has yet to start, but a debate on the matter has already started. Good morning. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno, and this is At the Forefront. The Makabayan bloc of lawmakers will again attempt to file today their impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. It was not accepted by the Office of the House Secretary General on Thursday because Secgen Cheloy Garafil was abroad. Another impeachment complaint being filed by former Ilocos Sur Governor Chavit Singson's group was also not accepted. Will these incidents set a dangerous precedent? To answer this and other questions, we'll be speaking with Caloocan 2nd District Representative Edgar Erice. Good morning, Congressman Egay.
Good morning, Karen.
You released an official statement last Friday where
Yes.
you said that there is constitutional sabotage on the impeachment complaints against the president.
Yes, actually, it's not just a sabotage, it's a scam.
Scam.
It's a scam because the one-year bar rule is actually a safeguard. Pero ang ginawa nilang weapon against a stronger, more detailed impeachment complaint filed by two groups. At ako nabasa ko yung actually hindi ko naman nabasa yung complaint ng mga pro-Duterte groups. Nabasa ko yung sa Makabayan bloc. And because there are members of the Makabayan bloc who are members of the 19th Congress, alam nila yung nangyari nung
So they have personal knowledge,
They have
which is
personal
what's
knowledge.
a requirement in a complaint.
Tapos nakita ko yung complaint nila detailed, unlike yung unang complaint it was filed January 19, 15-pager, tapos based on news articles.
Ito yung kay Attorney De Jesus.
Yun, kay Attorney Steelballs.
Still boss. Well, we'll talk about that later. Oo.
Yes. Tapos dapat may 10 days si Secgen Gerapil to refer it to the Speaker. Pero January 21, ni-refer niya na sa Speaker.
So it has been referred to
to the speaker. So tapos nung January 22, when the two groups filed their impeachment complaint, wala na siya, nasa abroad na siya. Alam naman ni Secgen na may mga susunod na impeachment complaint dahil may mga news reports. Pero hindi ang allegedly, sabi ni Attorney Salonga, the Executive Director of the Office of the Secretary General, walang binilin. So wala silang authority na tanggapin ito. Which is wrong because ministerial lang naman, under the Constitution, ministerial lang naman yung Office of the Secgen to receive. Hindi naman nakalagay doon na si Secgen mismo ang dapat tumanggap, kundi yung kanyang opisina. Ministerial lang to. So tingin ko, actually pwede ba silang magkaroon ng mga administrative penalties because of dereliction of duty.
You mentioned that also in your official statement that based on the House rules, it should be accepted ministerially. So you mentioned the possibility of administrative and criminal liabilities.
Yeah.
So do you think na pwedeng maging
Yung
subject
administrative,
to
palagay ko
liability
sigurado na yon. Yung siyempre, of course, kung...
Sigurado, but will someone file any complaint to hold
titingnan natin
Secgen
mabuti,
accountable?
pag-aaralan ko mabuti, depende yan kung kung hindi naman ang purpose ko dito is to harm anybody, but kundi protektahan yung constitutional process. I am not for the impeachment of the president, but I am for transparency and accountability of public officials. So at ito lang naman yung tanging paraan para maging accountable yung mga impeachable officials. Kung medyo sasalaulain pa natin yung proseso, medyo talagang walang mga kahihinatnan yung bansa natin. So, tingin ko ito yung kasi Ngayon, January 26, hindi ko pa nakikita yung order of business. Pag nakalagay na to sa order of business, i-refer na ito sa Committee on Justice.
And you're talking about the first impeachment
The
complaint.
first
And
impeachment.
speaking of the first impeachment complaint, you allege that this impeachment complaint filed by Attorney Andre De Jesus was weak and it aims to trigger
Yes.
the one-year bar rule. We talked to Attorney De Jesus last week and this was his reply.
The glaring fact, Attorney Karen, is that he could have done something about it, but he did not. He's been saying that they're going to be filing an impeachment complaint against President Marcos because of his illegalities, irregularities, but they didn't, right?
What is your response to that? Under the House rules, it can be also a member of the House of Representatives that can file a complaint.
Yes, but I already said that I will not be filing an impeachment complaint because I'm a member of the Committee on Justice and I will be very fair in assessing all these complaints. I know that the Makabayan bloc, because I've always talked to the members of the Makabayan bloc who are members of the minority. So sabi nila, magpa-file talaga sila. So kaya lang, napaka-komplikado yung preparation ng impeachment complaint. Kaya nga, sabi ko, basura yung final ni Atty. De Jesus, 15-pager, mostly from news articles. Kung nagbabasa na siya ng dyaryo, nakikinig siya sa mga balita, alam niya naman na magpapile ng Makabayan bloc, alam niya naman magpapile yung pro-Duterte group, sana nakipag-coordinate na lang siya. Pero what he did is to file a very weak impeachment complaint.
But Kong Egay, under the House rules, an impeachment complaint which contains a verification based on knowledge, information, and belief shall be treated as an unsigned impeachment complaint. So
Well,
should the complaint filed by Attorney De Jesus, since it's only based on news articles, wala namang personal knowledge, kung yun po ay matreat as an unverified complaint, would that still trigger the one-year bar rule?
Well, it will depend on the decision of the committee. It will be a collective decision of the Committee on Justice.
So dandun pa rin yung discretion.
This discretion.
So kung, let's say, ma-refer nga sa House Committee on Justice, which I believe in the rules, it should be 10 days from the time it was referred, the complaint was referred to the Speaker's office.
10 session days.
Baka soon mangyari ng may referral sa House.
If the Speaker chose to refer it today or tomorrow, then baka ito na yung mag-trigger ng one-year bar.
But the Bilyonaryo news channels on point with Attorney Ferdy Topacio interview, they said that they were supposed to file another impeachment complaint, but this was refused. Yung pag-receive was refused by the section. And they are considering going to the Supreme Court.
January 22 in the morning, it was the Makabayan bloc. In the afternoon, it was the pro-Duterte groups who filed the impeachment, but refused by the Executive Director of the Office of the Secretary General on the grounds that the Secretary General is abroad. That's a very flimsy reason, nakakatawa, nakakagalit. Sapagkat wala naman silang dapat gawin kundi tanggapin ito, ministerial lang yung kanilang trabaho.
And under the House rules, hindi kailangan na si SecGen personally ang tatanggap. Pwedeng opisina niya.
At kung aalis si SecGen, it's her responsibility na pagdilinan yung kanyang mga staff na dahil alam niya na may posibilidad na may mag-file ng impeachment complaint at napaka-importante nung timeline because there was already an impeachment complaint filed on January 19.
Well, Secretary Garfield supposedly, or SecGen Garfield went to Taiwan reportedly to receive an award on Friday. Do you think her absence was deliberate to prevent the filing or receipt of more impeachment complaints? Because as you said, lumalabas na naman sa news no na may mga magpa-file.
I'm not sure of her intention, pero I'm sure that yung constitutional process hindi pwedeng mapigilan ang pag-alis ng isang Secretary General. So, ang ginawa ng Office of the Secretary General, ginawang dahilan yung pag-alis niya para pigilan yung isang constitutional process. At tingin ko, ito yung constitutional sabotage.
And going back to what Attorney Ferdy Topacio said when he guested at On Point here in Bilyonaryo News Channel, he said that they're considering going to the Supreme Court after their impeachment complaint was refused by the Office of the Secretary General. Do you think that this is a practical move, considering the timing, di ba? Kasi in the meantime, uusad naman yung impeachment complaint ni Attorney De Jesus.
Ang tingin ko, dapat nilang gawin, even talked to the Makabayan bloc already. Nagkita kami nung last Saturday. Ang balak nila, i-refile ngayon.
I-refile today.
Ngayon, kung dapat siguro hintayin na ng Office of the Speaker para walang mali siya. Kasi may ginawang mali yung Office of the Secretary General. Yung Office of the Secretary General is an instrumentality of the House of Representatives. Kung tinolerate yung mali yan, edi tantamount na yung HOR mismo, yung pwedeng magko-commit ng grave abuse of discretion. At kung merong grave abuse of discretion, then may jurisdiction na ang Supreme Court.
But in practical terms, do you think that this could be exercised timely, in a timely manner?
Yes, I think so. Importante hintayin nila yung action ng Speaker kasi we cannot prejudge the Speaker. Kung payagan niya naman, walang issue.
Si Representative Sandro Marcos chairs the House Rules Committee.
Yes.
Which oversees as well the procedures on impeachment. Yes. Amid the complaints set to be filed against President Marcos, President Bongbong Marcos said that he will not intervene and he wants his son to follow the law. Do you think that the younger Marcos, Congressman Sandro, will be impartial?
I hope that Congressman Sandro Marcos will be enlightened by the fact na dapat hindi pigilan. Kung confident naman ang Malacanang, kung confident naman ang Pangulo na wala naman silang nagawa na pagkakamali o pagkukulang, o kung may pagkukulang man ay hindi naman impeachable, then they should allow all these complaints and in the interest of transparency, in the interest of fairness, they should allow all these complaints. Dapat yung impeachment process is yung timeline should not be weaponized against the higher goal of the impeachment process of accountability and transparency.
You're from the House of Representatives. Would you know should there be any impeachment complaint that progresses, kung merong sufficient votes that will allow the president to be impeached, regardless of the merits?
I don't think that there's sufficient numbers of representatives who will sign the impeachment of President Marcos.
So given that, Kong Erice, do you think it's still, practical or may saysay pa ba na pag-usapan ng impeachment? But before you answer this question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront. We continue our conversation with Caloocan Representative Edgar Erice. Kong Egay, you mentioned earlier that you don't believe that an impeachment complaint, even if it goes through the House Committee on Justice, will muster enough votes in Congress. So, ano pa yung purpose or saysay na pag-usapan or itakal ang impeachment complaint against President Bongbong Marcos?
Kasi may process, may complainant, dapat talaga na dumaan sa proseso. So, there will be hearings in the Committee on Justice, then we will be giving a chance to the complainants to air their grievances, their complaints. Then the committee can call witnesses. So, at least merong transparency.
Pagka ba nagpatawag ng witnesses ang House Committee on Justice, televised po ba yan? Pwedeng mapanood ng public?
Open to public naman ang Committee on Justice hearings.
But how would this affect yung economy natin? I mean, in a sense that maraming impeachment that has been filed already even against Vice President Sara and now against the President. And if, let's say, nagpatawag ng hearings ang House Committee on Justice, if there are testimonies that affect the credibility of the President, do you think that will erode confidence in our country further?
It should be the other way around. Kung mapapatunayan ng Presidente na wala siyang kinalaman dito sa pinakamalaking korupsyon na nangyari sa bansa natin, the unprecedented trillions of pesos wasted of the national budget, then mas makakaganda ito. Kasi ngayon, hindi naman natin may pagkakaila na yung ekonomiya natin, tinamaan na ng gusto. Third quarter, 4%. Last quarter of 2025, GDP natin is 3.8%. Tapos ang projection by the first quarter because of delayed government procurement, ang projection baka less than 3% pa yung GDP natin. Yung maraming epekto ang ginawa nitong flood control mess na ito na dapat matuldukan. Kung hindi matutuldukan to, patuloy yung pagbagsak ng ekonomiya, hindi dahil sa impeachment, kundi dahil dito sa problema na ito ng flood control.
Pag-usapan naman natin ang second highest position in our country, Vice President. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes on Bilyonaryo News Channel's On Point last Friday said that the plunder case against Vice President Sara Duterte may prosper due to changes in leadership, including President Bongbong Marcos's appointment of Ombudsman Boying Rimulya. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, kasi dapat siguro magkaroon talaga anyway, kung magkakaroon tayo ng impeachment process sa House, then the Vice President supposed to face the Committee on Justice. So, pwede natin tanungin sa kanya isa-isa yon. At mahirap naman i-prejudge sa ngayon.
Has it been settled, yung gray area, whether the Vice President is immune from suit? Because this plunder case has been filed even if Vice President Sara has not yet been impeached.
Parang wala pang presidente. So, palagay ko, kung magpa-file ang ombudsman sa Sandigan Bayan, cases against the Vice President, then the option of the Vice President is again to go to the Supreme Court to question it.
For the first time, it will be settled by the Supreme Court.
Kasi impeachable officer siya. So, pero maganda rin yung impeachment ng Vice President. Sinabi naman ng Supreme Court na kailangan may due process, bigyan siya ng pagkakataon para sagutin yung mga allegations sa kanya. Then, sabi ko nga, I will not sign any impeachment complaint against the Vice President and the President, but I will be participating actively in the deliberation in the Committee on Justice and fairly judge on the basis of the merits.
But you said that you won't sign any impeachment against the President and the Vice President. Do you mean
No, I will not endorse.
Endorse,
Yes.
Okay. So you will just participate sa House Committee on
Tapos
Justice
depende
on the
na yun
merits.
kung ano yung resulta ng investigation.
But
Pero makakasiguro sila na magiging fair ako. Kasi hindi naman ako Duterte, hindi naman ako Marcos, liberal ako. At ang principle ng liberal is accountability, transparency, saka yung pagsunod sa democratic process.
Sa dating impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara, malaking bagay dun sa allegations yung confidential funds. But because of the flood control controversy, parang marami nagsasabi, nagmukha daw barya. Yung ina-allege na around 125 million or more na confidential funds misuse against Vice President Sara Duterte. What's your take on that?
It's still the people's money, whether it's 100 million or 1 trillion, although talagang kung porsigido ang gobyerno para tugisin si Vice President Sara tungkol dun sa 125 billion confidential fund, dapat siguro mas klaro din na hindi pinagtatakpan ng palasyo yung mga sumalaula ng national budget, yung gumawa ng kalokohan sa flood control, dahil mas malaki ito. Dapat siguro mas porsigido sila. Kaya lang, ang problema nga natin, lumalabas yung mga pangalan na malalapit sa Pangulo. Ang mga kamag-anak, ang mga miyembro ng kabinete. So, dapat dito mas lalong maging transparent ang ating Pangulo.
In the 19th Congress, napaka-prominent nung Quadcom na binuo nila. And one of the people that was also investigated by the Quadcom was the confidential funds of Vice President Sara Duterte. So yung Office of the Vice President at that time, I mean, apart from the extrajudicial killings that was eventually, also linked to former President Duterte, meron pa bang efforts to revise the Quadcom under this 20th Congress?
Kasi kung impeachment complaint, it will be the Committee on Justice.
Yes, but for other issues like
Ngayon,
kasi di ba yung Quadcom
palagay
dati?
ko yung Quadcom na
halo-halong
na-discredit
issues nun. Oo.
Na-discredit kasi because of allegations of na-incentivize yung mga miyembro ng 19th Congress to go against VP Sara.
And finally, since the Makabayan bloc is set to refile their impeachment complaint today, are you aware of any issues that might prevent the Office of the Secretary General from receiving that impeachment complaint?
Today, they will be filing the impeachment complaint again. They will refile the impeachment complaint against the President. Palagay ko wala. Kung nandiyan naman si Secretary General, I don't see any other reason na they will refuse the receipt of the ministerial lang talaga. Actually, nagkamali na sila nung Thursday. So, pero yung kay Vice President, siguro mga after February 6 pa yun.
Okay, thank you so much, Congressman Edgar Erice, and a pleasure to have you again.
Thank you, Karen.
The impeachment process is a check and balance measure to hold public officials accountable. The process has rules, and rules must be followed. We hope that questions on how rules are applied can be settled so that the process will not be abused. Be informed, be insightful of the news. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. Always stay at the forefront.